You're watching GTV, and now it's time for today's edition of Children's GBC this morning. At this time, George Buxton is doing a Friday morning bit, and here it is.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Friday morning's Children's GBC. Okay then, so I'm still here in this exact location where I am right now. Now, we have some programs coming your way, but we're going to kick things off with our lovable pet badger, well, Bodger and Badger, obviously. And this time, Mavis, Mr. Trough and Simon Bodger are meeting Auntie Wanty. Bodger and Badger, yeah, because I think Auntie Wanty, well, you could safely say she's a little bit up and down with all this dopiness, or sometimes it could be the fact that it might be Mr. Trough's aunt. That was a pretty weird aunt, if you ask me. I mean, it's not like it's like Auntie Barbara that you find on Bear Behaviour Badly. Well, despite the fact there was no Mr. Prank on it, but that was before that he appeared on Bear Behaviour Badly. It was, and of course we have another bear that's coming up later on this morning with Paddington Bear, in which he has to go to school, but that's later on, of course. But right now on Children's GBC, it's time for today's episode of Playdays. But this time they're at the 10th stop, and today they are going to be acting out their stories, and. This episode is all about laziness. And yeah, seeing laziness make me feel tired. Well, I'm going to sleep for a bit. Enjoy the programme, everyone. Enjoy.
But where does it go? Where does it stop? Watch for the sign of the lollipop. It's the 10th stop. No, that's it.
We'll see you soon for some more stories. Bye.
Bye. Hey, I like this.
And don't forget that later on this morning, at 10 o'clock, we will have another episode of Playdays, but this time, Bort and his girlfriend Bonnie will be here later on this morning. So coming up next though, well, I'm sure it's Fireman Sam, and it's next.
George, wake up!
I do apologise, everybody. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sorry about this. Well, it's just because that episode titled Laziness, well, I just had to go to sleep sometime. But anyways, as I was going to say when I was rudely woken up, now that was today's Playdays, and I'm so glad that they've learned all about laziness, and it's all about doing jobs. If a job needs doing, then a job needs finishing, of course. Yeah, believe me, we've all been there. So anyway, the next programme is going to be Lost Cat. So who better to call than Fireman Sam?
Sam
Fireman Sam. Well, mind you, because I'm so glad that Trevor Evans was only doing his best to rescue a lost cat. Well, despite the fact that he was afraid of heights, as he couldn't get down. Call himself a fireman, otherwise known as Auxiliary Fireman Evans. Yeah, as Station Officer Steele would say. So anyway, so here's the next programme now, and the next programme is another creation that's made from S4C, that means Channel 4 Wales. Well, here's Joshua Jones, and in which they were doing like a horse play, but except the fact when the horse might fell in the water, well, you'll soon find out why in Joshua Jones.
Some people live in the country, some people live in the city or town, some people live at the top of the tower, but some people live much nearer the ground. But Joshua Jones can live wherever he goes. His boat will take him to all the nice homes down by the waterside or any place the water flows. La 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 la, 'cause that's the life he knows.
And that was Joshua Jones. Well, mind you, because I'm so glad that Joshua Jones came to help, and plus Joshua and his friends have managed to rescue a horse from drowning. Of course, Joshua had to get in the water just to make sure the horse keeps calm as possible. And then luckily the vet owner turned up just to take him to the hospital somewhere, otherwise known as Animal Hospital. So I'm glad it went very well. So coming up next on Children's GBC, it's time for George's Hurry Up Bit. Hey, who said that? Well, at least it's not no Hairbear saying it this time. George's Hurry Up Bit. Ah! Anyways, here's Harry Jeremy anyway. And today's episode, Jeremy has a toothache. Ooh, let's hope that doesn't happen again when he goes to the dentist, even though there is no dentist in the cave world. Now, let's see.
What do you say? He's not a superhero, nor a poet, or a king. He doesn't drive a car or do much of...
And that was Harry Jeremy. Well, I'm so glad that Harry Jeremy's tooth is okay now. Yeah, because obviously, I don't know whether he's been eating sweets or not, because after all, sweets are not normally invented in a cave world, as you probably know. Well, because obviously, cavemans don't normally have teeth, because normally they use up clubs to take off any meat or bad fillings. Well, anyways, that's Harry Jeremy. And before anyone else says anything, I have not got hairy armpits. So anyway, so the next programme right now is all about the little polar bear, otherwise known as Lars the polar bear, in which he encounters a certain egg. Wow, I wonder whose egg it is. Let's find out. The little polar bear. Well, because I'm so glad that Lars has managed to keep the eggs well safe. So it's just to make sure that it gets hatched in a warm place, of course. Oh yeah, with his friends, of course. So coming up next on Children's GBC. Now here's something completely different. Now because that we're on to September this month, the very month that we are right now, seems that all the kids are going back to school soon. So here is the TV movie of Paddington Bear, and today Paddington has to go to school because he hasn't got much education in London, as much as he didn't have in darkest Peru. Well, do you think that will go very well? And will Paddington save the day with a play? Well, let's find out. was Paddington Bear. Well, I'm so glad that Paddington has managed to get a real diploma. Well, despite the fact a few things went a bit wrong though. As Paddington, however, all he only managed to do was only just to do all the acts that the children can't really do. And there was one funny thing about it, is that when he does the can, I think it prefers the can't, because there's no such thing as can't, because it's mainly just like a little joke. But anyways, let's move on from the can't and into the can do brothers of the Rotherham. Now, here's today's episode of Chuckle Vision, in which they became Chairman Chuckles. And as Strawberry would say, to me, to you, to me, to you, to you, to me, to you. Well, George's hurry up. Oh, God! Anyway, here's today's episode. Chuckle Vision, Chuckle Vision. And that was Chuckle Vision. Yeah, mind you. So apparently, they did become chairman, but it didn't go very well though. And that's it for this Friday morning of Children's GBC. And for those kids, for those who are watching, if they are at home or if they're too young to watch to go to school, well, and for those who are, good luck at school. So anyway, so that's pretty much about it now, really. And don't forget, later on this afternoon, George Buxton, however, will more than likely to be here on Friday afternoon, in which he will use his own teleporter to teleport himself back to his own place. But of course, he'll be at my place first, and then he will be back at his own place. So, anyways, that's Children's GBC done for today. So, and I'm sure George Buxton will be here later on this afternoon. So I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
You're watching GTV. And don't forget, later on this morning, we will be back again at 10 o'clock with Playdays. And I think Bertie's going to have a special guest up today. But right here on GTV now, it's time to join Sergeant Bilko.